like I am with the sit bones rooted down, legs in easy pose, sitting up nice and tall. You can have a blanket underneath just to lift and tilt the hips a little bit. It's always nice sometimes too if you want to put a bolster at the base of the back as well. And you might feel like you even want to recline back. So I want you to find a position that will serve you best for the next 5 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you're seated or supine. Place one hand on your belly and one hand just above your heart on the chest area, just in a space where you feel the palm is rested comfortably. And then take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Exhale out. Deep inhale in. Deep exhale out. And there's nothing fancy that you're doing here. You are just feeling your body move as it breathes. And you're noticing some subtleties. You can notice maybe the chest rises, then the belly, or maybe they both rise together. Try not to assign a judgment, good or bad. Just let it be. For the last 2 minutes in this meditation, I want you to inhale the word I and exhale the word am. last minute of this meditation. Try to make each cycle of breath really long and deep. Then release your hands and place them on your lap with your next exhale, and just take a few cycles of breath here, keeping your I am mantra or not. Slowly, if you're lying down, come up into a seated pose. And then from seated, extend both legs long in front of you. Make sure you lift and shift so your sit bones are rooted down. And you can zip your legs together or take them wide. You'll come into a caterpillar pose, so a seated forward fold. And it just depends what you feel you need. You can have the legs zipped together or you can take them out wide. The distance of the legs isn't as important as having a good foundation in the sit bones and having a nice straight spine with the crown of the head reaching up, so that when you fold forward, you keep the integrity of the spine and you don't start hunching forward. If you want, you can take a strap or place a pillow underneath the knees. We'll be here for the next 5 minutes, so let's come up nice and tall first. Establish our straight spine. Take a full inhale, create length, and then fold forward on the exhale. If you're like me and using a strap, don't death grip your strap, keep it easy. And then it doesn't matter how you're doing your forward fold. Once you find a spot where the fold works for you, feeling it in the low back and the hamstrings, find a spot where you can really focus on keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. So with each inhale, create length, and with each exhale, maybe fold a little deeper. And a hair's length is great. It's progress. And stillness is progress too. And I'll give you a halfway point. Reaching a halfway point, see if you can lead the heart closer to the feet. Coming into the last 30 seconds, so really see if you can deepen here. Take your final breath here, and then carefully begin to walk yourself back up nice and tall. Legs stay long in front of you. Okay. Then take your legs wide. So some of us are going to be cool in a V. Others of us can take our legs a little bit wider. But no matter where you're at, place your hands behind you and just lift and shift the hips so now that you're on your sit bones. We'll be here a little bit. So be mindful that the heels are rooted down, the toes on both feet are up. Keep a nice long spine. We'll go over to the right leg first. So if you're using the strap, I'm going to demo with the strap. Place your strap there. So sit up nice and tall, coming up through the middle. And then rotate over the right leg. You can bring your arms up overhead if you would like. And then when you exhale, slowly start folding over the right leg, keeping the left hip rooted down. Maybe even try to externally rotate the hip a little bit so that you're not rolling in with the thigh. Hip is coming up high to the sky. And walk yourself down to a comfortable degree. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. So if you find that the forward fold is great, but you want something deeper, you can always bring the left arm up and over towards the right foot. So there's some choices here for the yogis. And let's begin. Last minute. can use your inhale to bring yourself up slowly, mindfully, and carefully. Rotate yourself back in towards center. And then when you're ready, we're going to go over to the left side. So set yourself up. Keep the right hip externally rotating out so you keep the right thigh high to the sky. Both heels are planted, toes are up. Come up nice and tall. You can bring your arms up overhead. And then when your exhale happens, fold over the left leg. Once again, staying in a fold, or you can reach your right arm up and overhead towards the left toe. Knowing that we'll be here for the next 3 minutes. Coming into the last 30 seconds of this pose. So maybe you can sink a little deeper and sweeter. And then come on up slowly on your next inhale. Bring your legs long in front of you again. Coming back into caterpillar one more time, just as an assessment. Let's see what changed. So take your legs about the same width. Heels are rooted down so the toes are coming up. Ooh, and before we go too far, I want you to try to line up your second toe with your knee. So a lot of times we like to collapse the ankles. So this way you're mindfully rotating the ankles in or out, depending on how you invert and evert. And then lining the second toe up with the knee. Okay? Let's do that for this caterpillar pose. Try to keep that foundation. So come up nice and tall, nice straight spine, because that'll help us get our length. Full inhale, and then as you exhale, fold forward. Find that sweet spot where it's not too deep, but it could go a little deeper. That gives you some space. And we'll be here for the next 3 minutes. So focus on keeping the second toe in line with the knee and folding forward gently. One more minute left. Play around with coming a little deeper. And notice if you have any tension in the body here. Make small adjustments to release the tension. Beautiful. Take a nice full inhale. Saying your I mantra. Exhale M. And bring yourself up slowly. Cool. Okay. Swing your legs over to the left side so that the left heel is going towards the left glute. Some of us will want to touch it. Others of us are good kind of in an L shape. The right foot is touching the left thigh, and you're still sitting up nice and tall. If you have a bolster handy, you can always bring it over to the right side for deer pose. And we'll be in deer for 5 minutes. Just a little bit. So let's set ourselves up nice and tall here, nice straight spine. You're not going to be completely balanced between the left and the right hip, but try to find some balance and stability the best that you can. Reach your arms up high to the sky, and then rotate over to the right side. And slowly set your hands down as you walk forward. If you have a bolster, you can set your torso on top of the bolster and lift and rotate so the left side of your face is planted. If the bolster isn't your jam, you can have your palms rested. And it doesn't, for both parties, if you're over a bolster or not, try to have some balance in the palms. And we'll be here for the next 5 minutes. Halfway through. Take your last cycle of breath here. Begin to walk yourself up as you inhale. And then come into hands and knees position. And then sit the bum onto the heels so you're sitting up nice and tall into a hero pose. And you can always sit on a block. Slowly start taking your heels out to the side of your hips and begin to take the bum to the ground. So now you're coming in a saddle pose. So having a block handy to sit on might be nice if you feel the hips are really tight for you. Okay. If this is cool and you want something a little deeper, place your hands behind you and slowly start coming down onto the forearms and maybe reclining all the way back. And we'll be here for the next 3 minutes. So wherever you're at, find some stillness. Halfway through. Begin to take your last cycle of breath in this pose. If you're reclined, make your way to a nice seated pose. And then for all of us, we'll place our hands in front of us, come back onto all fours. And then bring your legs over to the right side as you set the bum down. So right heel is coming towards the right glute to your degree. Left foot is touching the right thigh. Sitting up nice and tall. Maybe you have your pillow or your bolster over to the left side. Reach your arms up high to the sky. Rotate over towards the left side and slowly start coming down. Finding your deer pose here. for the next 5 minutes. And you can always lift and turn the head so that the right cheek is onto your bolster. There's a nice halfway point. Make any adjustments you need. Maybe sink a little deeper if you need to. Take one final cycle of breath here and begin to walk yourself up. Coming up nice and tall. Coming back into tabletop pose. And this time, bringing the knees nice and wide, the big toes come together. Finding a child's pose. And if you want, you can always have your bolster handy. I'll cue you when you're halfway. So if you want to turn your head, you can. We'll be here for 3 minutes. halfway through. So if you've turned your head, rotate it to the other side. Taking your last cycles of breath here. Make your way into a tabletop pose just for a brief second so that you can lift your hips and bring yourself long. So now you're prone onto the mat. The torso is rooted down, tops of the feet are planted, elbows are underneath the shoulders. Okay, what I want you to do is bring the left hand into center and then cross the right hand on top. Feel that. And if you feel like you can go deeper, grasp a hold of opposite elbows, walk them closer to the mat, or to the top of the mat, excuse me. And then place your palms down. So you're making this X with your hands and you're coming up in a cobra pose with an X. So you'll get this gentle back bend in the low back, but then you're also bringing the scapulas away from the ears, creating some space and drawing the shoulders down and away. And we'll be here for 2 minutes. Try to keep the glutes relaxed. And if at any point it gets too intense, back off and bring the elbows in closer. Halfway through. Last cycle of breath. Slowly release, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. And then bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh so you have a tree. Place your left hand underneath your face and push yourself up so you can thread your right arm underneath. Okay, stay here if this is cool. But if you want, well, first off, make a choice if you want your right palm up or down, okay? But then reach your left arm up high to the sky and slowly start opening and rotating up and over. So you're in a supine tree twist, even though you started off prone. And we'll be here for the next 3 minutes. One more minute left. Take your last breath here. Reach your arm up, your left arm up high to the sky. Place it back where it was onto the mat so you can lift and de-thread your right arm. Extend both legs long in front of you. This time, you're going to cross your left hand over your right, making an X. So try to take your elbows out the same distance so that you're coming up nice and tall onto the palms. Make any adjustments that you need, knowing that you'll be here for the next 2 minutes. One minute left. Take your full inhale. Let your exhale lower you down. Place your elbows underneath your shoulders. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Place your right hand underneath your face and push yourself up. Thread your left arm underneath. And then make a choice to have the left palm up or down. And then reach your right arm up high to the sky and over, coming into this twisted tree pose. And your gaze can come out over your left shoulder, or you can stay up to the sky, knowing you'll be here for the next 3 minutes. Halfway through. The last 30 seconds of this pose, see if you can feel how your body's moving as it's breathing. Beautiful. Slowly start guiding your right hand up and placing it back where it was on the mat. So you can push yourself up and de-thread your left arm. Set both legs long in front of you. And then from here, push yourself up into a plank pose and then downward dog. We'll be here for a minute and using this as a transition. So your downward dog can be, have your feet as wide as the mat or together. We'll start our minute, but pushing your palms into the mat so you can lift the hips up and high to the sky. then slowly bring your feet together. Take your right leg high to the sky and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, coming into your dragon pose. Drop your left knee. And if you need anything deeper, walk your left knee back before you untuck your left toes. You can stay on your palms or come down onto your forearms, but have your right foot rooted down. We'll be here for the next 3 minutes. Halfway through. Last 30 seconds. If you're on your forearms, slowly make your way onto your palms. Tuck under your left toes and lift your left knee. Set your left heel down and spin your left toes out to the side. Root down through your feet and then slowly start straightening your right leg. So you have a warrior 2 back foot and you're doing the pseudo pyramid pose. You'll feel the stretch in the right hamstring and root down through the left foot. And we'll be here just for another 45 seconds. Try to focus on pushing the feet into the mat. And then use your exhale to bend into the right knee again. Rotate the left heel so it's spinning up. And then step your right foot back into your downward dog. We'll be here for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We're using this as a transition point.
And then bring the feet together. Lift the left leg high to the sky and step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Dropping the right knee. Staying high on the palms. Or coming down onto the forearm for your dragon pose for the next 3 minutes. Halfway. Last 30 seconds. If you've lowered yourself onto your forearms, slowly bring yourself onto your palms. And then tuck under your right toes and lift your right knee. Set your right foot down with the right toes facing the right side of the mat. And then slowly start straightening the left leg, maybe walking your hands back or not. So you can get this beautiful stretch in the left hamstring for the next minute, 45 seconds. Then bend into the left knee. Spin the toes to the right heel is up. Take the left leg back into your downward dog. Let's stay here for 3 big breaths. And then shift forward, drop your knees. Lower your torso down. And then flip over so that you're face up. And have your feet flat onto the mat, knees up, and suss around here so that the shoulders are down and away from the ears. Okay, from here, cross your right knee over your left knee and wrap your right toes around your left shin if you can. So it's like you are setting up for your eagle legs. It's like eagle legs. Take your arms out to a T. Lift and shift your hips to the right so the legs can fall over to the left side. And then if you would like, you can take the gaze out over your right shoulder. We'll stay here for the next 90 seconds. Thirty more seconds here. Take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Slowly bring your knees back into center. Set the feet flat. Windshield wiper the legs from side to side. So your feet can be hip distance or you can take them as wide as your mat. And windshield wiper from side to side. Just a few strokes. And then find your feet flat again. This time cross the left knee over the right, and if you can, wrap the left foot around the right calf. Lift and shift the hips to the left so you can allow the knees then to fall over to the right. Then you can take the gaze out over the left shoulder for the next 90 seconds, giving yourself this fun supine twist. 30 seconds left. And then use your inhale to bring yourself back into center. This time, hug the knees into the chest. Take them close together or wide and rock from side to side. Maybe making some circles. If you're doing circles, reversing direction. And then wrap your arms around your shins and give yourself a nice full body squeeze here. Extend one leg long and then the other. Bring in the arms to the side of the body. Palms could be up or down. And find yourself in this final Shavasana pose, knowing that I will call you. Take a nice full inhale in. Sigh it out. Slowly make your way onto your right side. No rush. And then use your left hand to push yourself up into a seated pose. Bring your hands into heart center, have the thumbs touch the sternum, and give yourself a nice soft bow. And return back to the I am mantra from the beginning. So inhaling I and exhaling M. I appreciate you practicing with me. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in you. Namaste.